Alright, we're going to try to put this together here before the camera screws up. Now, the Ithaca, here we are. The forearm I already got on, and I got it back. We're pretty well set there. Now we're going to take part of this action. Alright, put it together like so, just in case it had come apart on you. And that's going to slide in to the bottom chamber. But first, let me get a little dab of the magic potion here. Now what this is, believe it or not, it's a non-detergent 30 weight oil and STP. And now you can see I did very little. Alright, you don't need a lot here. Alright, an old timer told me about this. Alright, and it makes sense, so I've been using it right along. And I have no problems with it. So, but anyway, I just put a few dots on there, and you can see right there it's got the tracks. So we're going to just kind of like slide those into the track. Again, now normally these go in kind of easy. There we go. Alright. And then, just to get by that piece I was talking about earlier, we're going to lift that up so we can get that in all the way. Alright, did you see what I did there, I hope? Right here, this little piece, it gets in the way, so you kind of like get underneath it, lift it out a little bit, and it slides right through. Alright, now the forearm is already on, the spring is already in the magazine, so I'm all done there. Now it's a matter of getting the rest of this in play, and I believe I just put it together without putting this on here, so let me take this back apart for a second. Sorry to confuse you here. Put this on first. It makes it a lot easier to work with later. Alright, and then put this back in the track. Okay, and again, lift that little piece up so this here will slide by, and that's kind of done. Done deal. Now we can take the forearm and slide it in to the track. Alright, and once it's in there, we're going to take this little pin right here and push it over and slide the forearm in. Yeah, try to do this with the camera in my hands. Come on, come forward. Okay, make sure you're forward enough for it to reach in there, that's all. Now, come on. There we go. Okay. I'm moving the forearm, and that's working. Now, this piece is going to fit into those holes right there. And we're going to be using, these screws, these little short buggers. And those are going to fit down in there into that matchup. Alright, right there, right there. Alright. And once you get that in place, you want to make sure that those little indentations on the head of the screw are lined up with that, because this little screw goes in there. Come on, get your ass in there. It's a lot easier to do this when you haven't got to look through a camera. But if you can see it, that little screw lines up with the indentations on the head of that screw, which acts like a lock screw. So this one's basically locking that one into place. Alright, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Make sure it's all lined up. Now it's important to use the right screwdrivers, because otherwise you'll tear the shit out of the head of these screws. They're soft. And I've already done one of them. I will brush it up and take care of it later, and then naturally put the little lock screw in. We gotta make sure that that is not so much tight, but as tight as we can get it, and yet keep it lined up. There we go. Put the little set screw in there, the lock screw rather. Come on, get your little butt in there. Trying to do this through the camera lens is a pain in the ass. Excuse the sores on the hand. They're battle wounds. One of those training issues. Don't mean to be showing my bloody hands on film here, especially on YouTube, but shit happens. All right, now a little bit of this special mixture here, and again, oops, where are we here? Just a dab. We don't need a lot. The same thing for this side. Now what this is basically a 3-to-1. Alright, I used thimbles actually. A little dab in there. I don't need anything on that side. There's already some in there. Right. It's like a 3-to-1 mixture. 1 thimble of STP to 3 thimbles, or a little bit more if you want, 4-to-1. On I'm just wiping the trigger guard off here. I'm not wiping the 4-to-1 of a 30 weight non-detergent oil, and it works out quite well. So now with this done, we're going to take this, because this also has a track. Alright, and we're going to slide that into the track, or try to slide it into the track. Alright. Now you may have to drop that hammer to get it over this at first, but once you've done that, and if it's properly oiled, you shouldn't have a problem with it automatically closing. If not, close it when it's in there. Now, where we go here? Can you see this? There's a little tension spring right here. Alright, it goes up against the side. And I don't know if you can actually see it or not, but sometimes that'll stop this from going in all the way. So all you gotta do is kind of like just give it a little whoop. There's a little tweak. Just a little pressure on it like that to get by it. Alright, and once you're by it, you're all set. Now, if in fact you still have a problem and you're by that and it doesn't want to go in all the way, just lift this up a little bit. Alright, because that raises and lowers a pin down there that may have gotten locked on the action. But you want to line that up like that. Alright, that's all lined up there. Alright, and then we're going to put a screw in. Alright. Alright, oh, back up. Remember I told you something here? I screwed up myself. This little piece of shit. Remember I kept telling you it's going to keep getting out of the way and it's going to be an albatross? Well, you got to make sure we put that in before we put the trigger assembly in. Alright. So, there. Now that goes in like I had stated earlier, with the little tail heading towards the barrel. Alright. Now with that done, we'll take this screw here, and that goes down in there. And this holds the trigger assembly in. This goes right through the trigger assembly. Snug it down a little bit for now. Then we got the barrel. Now here, if this forearm is forward, you're going to have a problem because there's a pin down in the top here. And that's going to stop the barrel from going in. So you want to make sure that you bring the forearm back. And then we're going to take the barrel, and it's not going to go in like this right off the bat, straight in other words. Alright, we got to cock it, drop it in. Alright, now she's dropped in, and see how she's on an angle right now? Okay, and when she's dropped in, that's why that little rod in there would get in your way. You got to make the forearms back, because then you're going to turn it. And once you turn it and make it straight, you're just going to tighten this up, back and off, and that is going to lock the barrel into play. Now the barrel's on. Now, the top of the magazine has a little notch in it because this little screw has to slide through from the other side to the other side and go through all the way. Well, it won't do that unless you're right on that notch, so that the screw can kind of bypass, where are we? So that screw can kind of bypass a little notch in the magazine to go in all the way. Alright, I think we're still on the camera, yeah. Alright, and we'll just tighten this down. Now again, you want to snug everything, you don't want to over tight. Alright, and you want to make sure you use the right tools. As you can tell, there's a few times I grabbed the wrong ones, and a few of the heads on these screws are kind of beat because of it. But then again, this rifle's been apart more than it's been put together. So, oh, I'm sorry, I just tightened that up. Alright, so everything's got a little oil on it. Everything is copacetic. Everything is working. Alright. So now it's time just to put the butt stock back together. Someday I'd like to get a pistol grip stock. But I don't know. You know? I hate just putting money into these things. I'm a believer, if you buy a weapon, it should be the way you want it when you buy it. If I have to start adding crap to it, well, is it really what I wanted to start with? Well, what I'm doing, and by the way, is tightening up this stock with a number 14. All right. And this is actually easier. It's going to have to come off the camera for a minute to rest it on something on the floor, so you don't beat the shit out of the front of the stock, or the barrel rather, and then just tighten it up from the top down, and then you're pretty well set. We're almost there, guys. Yeah, we're still here. Again, snug everything, not over tight. Alright, stock's back on. Now we're to find our little pad. Put the pad back in play, like so. I wonder if this is charged up enough. Nope. I'm trying to use an electric screwdriver here. I don't want to use one of those electric power drills because they may have a habit of stripping the screws. So something like this is a little bit slower torque and works better, but it's dead. So take the Phillips and do it by hand. Why get lazy at this point? So what I'm doing is I'm just screwing a little pad on back here. The way my shoulder's been feeling lately, I'd have to have 10 of these pads. But thank God I don't have to use this for a while. Alright, so she's back together. And one of the reasons why you want to wait until they're really cured, try to wait like 48 hours at least before reassembling it. And if you do have a way of getting some heat on everything other than anything that's going to melt or burn, but on all the painted parts at that point, except for the stock and things, if you decide to paint the stock, I'm wiping it down right now, by the way. That'll be the best bet. Wait a few days. Don't push it. Alright, and then this your way you can just wipe the oil off it, the fingerprints off it, and you're all set. But anyway, there she be. Alright, she back together. And I'm done with this stupid tripod and camera. I definitely got to get a new tripod and camera. But there she goes, guys. I hope that was helpful.